Dear diarrhea, diary full of shit. Just play along, me, myself, and I. No one else. Yo, I'm so legit. I just deleted some videos. I made them yesterday, but I wanted to hold off. I didn't want to post them yet, and I wanted to see how things played out, and that was a good decision. And as I deleted them, I saw the two pictures of Kleber, and the one that caught my eye was the better one, where she's not super done up in makeup. And Mrs. Buttface, did you see the folder I made about you? I must be in love with you, because you're always on my mind and shit. So, boy, that must make you feel all giddy inside. I mean, for now you got your consolation, settled. We die. So, does he know that when he's either making sweet love to you or fucking your stupid, brains out, that you're thinking about me? So you probably better not tell him, you know what I mean? Because every time he fucks you, that jealousy will kick in, I mean, he's probably not a jealous guy, but that'll probably fuck his world all up, you know what I mean? Because he's like, there ain't no motherfucker, people get jealous of me, and so he'll be like, he'll be pumping away, working the hips, doing the tornado, whatever, and yeah, just full of so much jealousy, motherfucker. He'll blow his load and he'll just keep going. He'll be thinking of me, and then he'll be, you know what I mean, like, yeah, motherfucker, and then he'll realize, what the hell am I doing, and he'll just be like, and then he'll realize, hey, this works. I just blew my load, yet I'm still hard. Hey, and then it's like he's got this thing that's like a shitty deal, you know what I mean? Because he has discovered that he can maintain a fucking erection, when he's fucking your brains out, but he's thinking about me because he knows that you are thinking about me as he's fucking your brains out. Yeah, I don't envy you, you stupid dumb shit, you. So I don't envy either one of you. You're in a bad way, kind of a pickle. So, anyway, did you tell Kleber I want to rub my dick on her face? If you have already, go ahead and tell her again. She may have forgot. So, speaking of dick on your face, Katie Boo. How you doing? So, I'm getting off track. First, this is kind of a long-winded thing here. I'll try and make it short, but, they recently hired a dude to do my job. And that was a real gut punch because I wasn't doing anything wrong. And I figured, I was in there, I'm like, beggars can't be choosers, blah, blah, blah. My boss only had like 10 minutes. He was between, like conference calls. And, basically to make a somewhat long story and somewhat intricate shorter and simpler, I thought that maybe I wasn't doing as good as a job as I thought. And it was because, the main loader operator didn't tell me anything. And when my boss asked the main loader operator, he figured, okay, well, we'll hire somebody else, to do this. And he had another position for me, but I thought it was just like some sort of sympathy thing, like he didn't, want to let me go. So it was a real gut punch. Yesterday was a kind of a shitty day. It actually like hurt my feelings. I didn't cry or anything, but I mean, it didn't piss me off, but it like kind of did at the same time. Because that was a shitty, I thought they did me dirty. I thought both of them did. because the one guy didn't say anything, and neither did my boss. You know, it's like, well, if the one guy didn't say anything, then at least my boss should have said, hey, what's his name, you know, said this or that or the other. And I actually said that today, you know, when he walked right past me, and I said, where did I say, I wouldn't have threw that fit if my daddy knew how to talk to me. Just leave me alone in the corner with my toys. Because he kind of seemed, I don't know if I've said this before, but he seems like the kind of guy, like when he was a kid, he was probably the kind of kid, you know, who was just kind of off in the corner by himself, you know, playing with his toys, and if you interrupted his personal time, you know, he threw a fit, and the adults in his life did what they could to calm him down, so they gave him cookies and juice and whatever, and now he's old, so he's, you know, he's like a middle-aged dude, so he's been living life and whatnot, and I was mad, basically, because I thought it was him who did that, and I'm like, you fucker. And then, again, my boss, too, I was like, well, why didn't you tell me? So I thought, you know, my job, basically, I would be a nuisance, like they didn't need me anymore. And they would either eventually let me go, and he told me, you know, blah, 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 there's going to be a loader, and, you know, this is what I got in mind for you. And I'm like, well, fucking A, why couldn't I just keep doing what I'm doing? Why don't you hire somebody else to do that shit? Well, it turns out the guy he hired, he couldn't not hire because he's got a bunch of experience. And again, it's like, well, what? I wasn't doing fantastic. I thought I was doing pretty awesome. I was spreading the dirt out nice and thin, and it was clean and organized, and but so that part is still kind of like, well, but ideally, I guess he was telling the truth way back in the day when he said he would ideally like to have 2 loaders at each pit. So I said that to the dude, and then went in and said, well, on my lunch break, I went up to this other place and briefly talked to this guy, and I got an application. It sounded promising, but it's the place that the guy I talked to way back when he's like, well, call me when you're, off all that shit. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to jinx it, but the pay is basically double. It's just a little bit farther north. And I told him, blah, blah, this, that, and the other. I've only got, 6 weeks. This is what I was doing. I was running the screen. And, I do have a DUI. And he didn't say yay or nay, but he was like, okay, and, whatever. He's all, I'll tell you what, fill out this application, blah, blah, blah. And I told him I'd bring it back. So I went back and I told my boss, I wanted to be honest and upfront with him because I didn't want to burn a bridge behind me, and that's how I do things. So I happened to catch him, said, hey, you got about 10 minutes? Basically said, hey, look, I'm looking to switch jobs, blah, blah, blah. I'd like more hours, like more money. I went, because, we're a set deal, which I like. That's all fine and good, but you can't hardly say no, because I was doing that at first because I was gut punched and I was kind of pissed. I'm like, well, hell with this, Plus, I didn't know if eventually he might say, he was just sort of didn't have the heart to fire me, right? But eventually, so I told him, blah, blah, this, that, and the other. Things happened. I was hired for this position. Insurance couldn't hire me. Then this happened. I had to cover for this guy, and I just don't think you need me anymore. And again, to make a short, somewhat long, intricate story, he was totally appreciative, honest, and upfront. He said, I have a job there as long as I want. He will give me a good recommendation. I'll keep him in the loop. He understands that people got to do for self. And he does think I'm a good loader operator and a good guy. And, this, that, and the other. So, I found out what the deal was. I said, oh, by the way, can I take tomorrow off so I can go, take care of that? He's like, yeah, and he'll even pay me for it. And in fact, he said, I don't remember what he said. He's all, you got some vacation time. And I'm like, well, what, is it piecemealed out? been here, like 4 months. He's like, well, remember when I hired you, I said, if you want to take a long weekend here and there, that's fine. So, and he said, yeah, I'll pay you for tomorrow. You're worth it. So I thought that was kind of what have you, But it turned out really good because I was expecting him to say, well, okay, I appreciate it. When's your last day? But instead, it went fucking fantastic. So, you know what I mean? Because, I told him, I'm like, this might be a bad decision. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I just want to be honest up front with you because you gave me a chance and an opportunity in my situation. What the hell? I said, if you do need to hire somebody, then, you can, start looking, So that works out good. My boss knows that I'm wanting to jump ship, yet still is like, hey, you got a job as long as you want it. So, yeah. So, and it's because I did it the right way, Even if he would have said, okay, well, I appreciate it. When's your last day? Fuck off. That still would have been the right way to do it, but, yeah. So, and then I went and apologized to that other dude. He's all, I don't know what comment you're talking about. And I was like, the fuck you, dude. You were standing right next to me when I said it. I didn't like tap him on the shoulder and be like, hey man, but he was walking past me and he was literally right past me and I was taking my gloves off to take a drink of water. And I said, whatever I said, I wouldn't have threw a fit if I had a daddy who knew how to talk to me. Just leave me in the corner and let me play with my toys. So I guess, he was trying to I guess maybe he thought I wasn't talking to him, but, and there were 2 other people in there, so he might have been trying to save face, because he didn't respond, and I thought, oh, okay. So maybe that's legit, maybe he wasn't just kind of oh, okay, whatever, because it turns out that comment probably caught him by surprise. He probably was like, okay, weirdo, but but anyway. So I said, oh, well, good, never mind then. But, and that's fine, if you need to apologize, that's totally fine. If you do something like that and you find out you were wrong, just don't be a suck ass about it, Just a quick, I said his name, Johnny boy, I apologize for that comment I made this morning. I thought this job was taken out from under me because I wasn't doing good enough and you didn't tell me. And they just hired somebody else. It turns out you were hired because you have a bunch of experience and he does actually have another position for me. And of course the one guy's probably thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? But anyway, and I just found out that Monday is Labor Day, so I'm going to drop off my application with my resume tomorrow. So yesterday was a bad day. I genuinely felt bad, and I usually don't feel bad over anything. Because like I said, it was a gut punch. I thought they did me dirty, and, my feelings were hurt. As stupid and pathetic as that sounds, they weren't hurt, but, I was like, man, you motherfuckers. But, yeah, now I'm a happy boy again, so that worked out. It worked out real nice. That's not unheard of, you know what I mean? There's bosses out there, oh, really? Well, you want to quit, do you? So, good deal. I've got my boss on my side. So, anyway, Katie Boo, I was talking about you. Oh, yeah. I'm about 3.5 minutes in your stuff there. You girls sure are funny. The one girl there shitting, I went and checked out that video. I just sort of scrolled through it and stopped at the parts with you in it. The one girl with the titties, ooh, who's that? We'll have to kind of look into that. They're squeezed together, you know, it's like, yeah. And of course, you, when you walked away in your spandex there, but the thing is, I can't really see anything. I'll have to adjust the brightness and whatnot. So, and the what have you when you're in the green stuff there. Is that some butt cleavage I see? Forward butt cleavage? Ooh, girl. You know, I'm pathetic and stuff, you know, so it's nice to hear you talk, you know, and not like that all nasally ASMR. Oh, okay. So, I'll have to watch it again, you know, the parts and whatnot. That bitch is a fucking phony ass fucking TikTok fucking bitch. Ooh, yeah. Go pour yourself a drink. Yeah. Is that what you did? Was it an alcoholic beverage? I didn't really look. Like I said, I just sort of scanned it real quick. I'll watch it again. I'll give it due thoroughness. And of course, when you're in the bed with the girl there, ooh, yeah. Of course, my mind goes several places. Nice thighs. Oh yeah, I'm a horny boy. But such a pathetic, horny, desperate, deprived boy. Plotting his revenge on the world, hating on life. But as far as work goes, I'm in a fairly pretty good spot right now, so. Anyway, and it just sort of worked out. And it, you know, if he would have told me that, you know what, my boss said, hey, look, I had to hire that, blah blah blah, but he didn't. He just sort of blasted over it. So my mind is like, well, fuck the both of you motherfuckers. One of you should have told me that I wasn't doing my, because it's such an easy fix, and that's what confused me. Because it's like, you know, in the 6 weeks that I was doing that loader shit, you know, I let that hopper run out like 3 or 4 times for like 2 or 3 minutes. You know, it's important to keep it full because it takes such a long time to get the end product. You know, it's like you might get, you know, a quarter of a bucket of end product for a full bucket worth of material that you're putting in. You know, and it spits out, you know, the stuff, you know, the recycled shit, and you recycle it. And I have this whole system, you know, it's like, well, I already ran this shit twice. So I ran this, so I put this in that pile and this in that pile. And I'm like, you know, in my mind, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking kind of kicking ass over here. Which, again, still is kind of like, but, you know, well, what? I wasn't doing good enough, but, you know, I guess he did have, you know, 4 loader positions in mind. So it still kind of sucks, you know, because it's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm pretty sure I could outdo that schmuck even though he's got experience. You know, I just could. I'm confident in that. You know, like dumping the bucket, the finesse, you know, where you raise it up and I drive forward, you know, so the bucket wouldn't move as I'm dumping it. You know, I haven't loaded a truck yet, but and loaders are kind of built different when you raise the bucket. There's like an arm that makes sure it stays stable versus like if it's a farm tractor with a bucket, it raises up and it's like, okay, you got to move it forward. Otherwise, you're going to dump the dirt out, you know, on the hood of the tractor. But, you know, but there's still kind of a technique and some finesse about raising it, the main boom, and then dumping the bucket at the same time and driving forward. Because, like I said, they have a brake for the right foot and the left foot, and they're connected, driving forward and hitting that brake. So, and you do this all in one fluid motion, you know. So you come in and that bucket just doesn't move; it just boom, and you dump it. And then I'd kind of bang it and then turn this way, boom, bang it, you know, and, you know, so I could dump a little on the other side and keep that hopper full. And I'm like, you know, I'm kind of doing all right here. What's this asshole doing, you know? But I guess it is what it is. So. It's 20 minutes. Guess that's all I'm gonna say. Bye bye. Yeah, I'm definitely, like I said, I'm such a pathetic, horny boy. You know, it's nice to see you, like when you did that sponsor or whatever, like oh jewelry. It's like, hey, she's talking normal. It's not an ASMR voice. So, yeah, I won't watch the whole video. I just ain't got that kind of patience to watch a 40-minute homemade video. But I'll watch the parts with you in it. And what's her name's kind of cute. And the chick with the tits. Uh huh. It's a good thing you didn't invite Fatty McFatfuck, to be a part of that. I mean, you kind of did. Was that her boyfriend there? That dude. You lay off the bed. What? You were supposed to say Twinkies and shit. My mom was so fat she didn't know. Fatty McFatfuck much? Then she's probably like, that baby looks kind of delicious. It's all pink and shiny and shit. Oh, no, save that umbilical cord for me. Yeah, put it in a jar. I'll take it home and slather it with mayonnaise and cheese. Yeah. Anyway, you see all those videos that I put in the ASMR folder with the dogs meet the newborn baby, because you got your dog. Think how well Cindy would take to it, or maybe she'd be jealous. Yeah. What do you think? You think Cindy would be jealous of your new baba? I don't think you're ever gonna get to experience that, because I don't think. Well, you know what? I take that back. If you want a baba and you want a family, you can. Well, in your case, I don't know. Because, like I said, you're the prettiest girl in the whole damn world, and yet you want to get married, and I'm going to assume you want to have kids and a family, yet you ain't yet. Have you just been partying in not only your 20s but into your 30s? Is that how that works? So, anyway. I guess you could do like a point of view, thong panty line video. It might change my mind and bring me out of player, baller retirement, and put the troll, fake ass bullshitter shit aside, and bust out my best, pimp outfit. Hop a plane up to Chicago. So, actually, I'll do the whole Abercrombie, like the cologne, that guy, with the square jaw, and, which I actually have one of those too. Square head. But, who's like selling the watch or the cologne. You like the smell of dick? Speaking of rubbing my dick on your face, they should make a cologne that smells like dick and call it masculinity. Like that musky dick smell. If he's got a real dick, if he's got one of those animal dicks, someone who hasn't taken dominion over, the animal kingdom, and he's got that fucking, nasty ass, flesh turtleneck alien anteater bullshit, pink nasty stanky bullshit, smells like, rotten cock, shit, fish, snail vomit, whatever the hell else, nasty shit that, well, then it doesn't count. They're the type of people who can't appreciate anything other than a tight, wet hole. So, anyway.